Hey guys, today is day 94. We will be in the book of Judges. We'll be reading chapters 17 and 18. We're a little different today. We're back in the sound room here. I'm not sure how this is going to work out. I'm actually recording on the computer. I've never done it before, so we'll see how it goes. With that, let's jump in. Judges chapter 17. It says, "And there was a man of the hill country of Ephraim, whose name was Micah. And he said to his mother, The 1,100 pieces of silver which were taken from you, about which you cursed the thief, and also spoke about in my hearing, behold, the silver is with me. I took it. And his mother said, Blessed be my son before the Lord. And he returned the 1,100 pieces of silver to his mother, and she says, I had truly dedicated the silver from my hand to the Lord for my son in his name, to make an image carved of wood and plated with silver, and a cast image of solid silver. So now I will return it to you. So when he returned the silver to his mother, she took 200 pieces of silver and gave them to the silversmith, who made of it an image of silver-plated wood, and cast an image of solid silver, and they were in the house of Micah. Now the man, Micah, had a house of God's shrine, and he made an ephod and a teraphim, and dedicated and installed one of his sons, who became his personal priest. And in those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did what was right in his own eyes. Now there was a young man from Bethlehem in Judah, from the family of the tribe of Judah, who was a Levite, and he was staying there temporarily. Then the man left the town of Bethlehem of Judah to stay wherever he could find a place. And as he journeyed, he came to the hill country of Ephraim and the house of Micah. And Micah said to him, Where do you come from? And he said to him, I am a Levite from Bethlehem in Judea, and I am going to stay wherever I can find a place. And Micah said to him, Live here with me, and be a father and a personal priest to me, and I will give you 10 pieces of silver each year, a supply of clothing, and your sustenance, that is, room and board. So the Levite went in. The Levite agreed to live with the man, and the young man became to Micah like one of his sons. So Micah dedicated, that is, installed the Levite, and the young man became his priest, and lived in the house of Micah. Then Micah said, Now I know that the Lord will favor me and make me prosper, because I have a Levite as my priest. And in those days, chapter 18, there was no king in Israel. And in those days, the tribe of the Danites was seeking an inheritance of land for themselves to live in. For until then, an inheritance had not been allotted to them as a possession among the tribes of Israel. So the sons of Dan sent from the total number of their extended family 5 brave men from Zor, Eshtaol, to scout the land and to explore it. And they said to them, Go explore the land. And they came to the hill country of Ephraim, to the house of Micah, and lodged there. And when they passed near Micah's house, they recognized the voice of the young man, the Levite, and they turned aside there, and said to him, Who brought you here? And what are you doing in this place? And what do you have here? And he said to them, Micah has done this and that for me, and he has hired me, and I have become his priest. And they said to him, Please ask of God, so that we may know whether our journey on which we are going will be successful. And the priest said to them, Go in peace. The journey on which you are going is acceptable to the Lord. Then the 5 men went on, and they came to Lachish. And they saw people who were there, how they were living secretly in the style of the Sidonians, quiet and peaceful. And there was no oppressive magistrates in the land, humiliating them in anything. And they were far from the Sidonians, and had no dealings with anyone. The 5 men came back home to their brethren in Zor and Eshtaol, and their brothers said to them, what do you have to report? And they said, Arise, let us go up against them. For we have seen the land, and behold, it is very good. Will you sit still and do nothing? Do not hesitate to go, to enter, and to take possession of the land. When you enter, you will come to a people feeling safe and secure, with a spacious land, widely extended on all sides, for God has given it into your hands, a place where there is no lack of anything that is on the earth. Then from the family of the Dananite, from Zor, and from Eshtaol, 600 men armed with weapons of war set out. They went up and they camped at Kiriath-Jearim in Judah. Therefore they have called that place Mahanath Dan to this day. It is west of Kiriath-Jearim. They went on from there to the hill country of Ephraim, and they came into Micah's house. Then the 5 men who had gone to scout the country of Lachish said to their relatives, Do you know that there are in this house an ephod, a teraphim, and an image of silver-plated wood, and a cast image of solid silver? Now, therefore, consider what you should do. So they turned in the direction, and they came to the house of the young Levite at the home of Micah, and asked him how he was doing. Now the 600 men, armed with their weapons of war, who were of the sons of Dan, stood at the entrance of the gate. Now the 5 men who had gone to scout the land went up and entered the house, and took the image of silver-plated wood, the ephod, the teraphim, and the cast image of silver, while the priest stood by the entrance of the gate with the 600 men armed with weapons of war. And when these 5 men went into Micah's house and took the plated image, the ephod, the teraphim, and the cast image, the priest asked them, What are you doing? And they said to him, Keep quiet, put your hands over your mouth, and come with us, and be a father and a priest to us. Is it better for you to be a priest to the house of one man, or to be the priest to the tribe of the family of Israel? And the priest's heart was glad to hear that, and he took the ephod and the teraphim and the image, and went among the people. So they turned and left, and they put the children and the livestock and the valuables and the supplies in front of them. And when they had gone some distance from the house of Micah, the men who were living in the house near Micah's house assembled as a militia and overtook the sons of Dan. They shouted to the Danites, who turned and said to Micah, What is your reason for assembling against us? He says, You have taken away my gods, which I have made, and the priest, and have gone away. What else do I have left? How can you say to me, What is your reason? And the sons of Dan said to him, Do not let your voice of complaint be heard among us, or else angry men will assault you, and you will lose your life, along with the lives of everyone in your household. And then the Danites went on their way. And Micah saw that they were too strong for him, so he turned and went back to his house. They took the idolatrous things that Micah had made, and his priest, and they came to Lachish, to a people who were quiet and secure. And they struck them with the edge of the sword, and they burned the city with fire. And there was no one to rescue them, because it was far from Sidon, and they had no dealings with anyone. It was in the valley which belongs to Beth Rehob, and they rebuilt the city and lived in it. They named it the city of Dan, after Dan, their forefather, who was born to the Israel, Jacob. However, the original name of the city was Laish. The tribe of the sons of Dan set up an image of silver-plated wood for themselves, and Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Moses, and his sons were priests to the tribe of the Danites until the day of captivity and exile from the land. So they set up for themselves Micah's silver-plated wooden image, which he had made, and kept it throughout the time that the house, the tabernacle of God, was at Shiloh. God bless you guys. Have a great day.